Hi, I've been catching up on a few films this week, and I got around to watching Godzilla, Kong, The New Empire, the latest film in the MonsterVerse, co-written and directed by Adam Wingard. In this new iteration, Godzilla is busy traveling across the world, fighting various giant monsters, while Kong is living in the Hollow Earth and living his daily life, fighting off monsters. There's a nice sight early on of Godzilla exhausted after leveling most of Rome, taking a nap inside the Colosseum, curled up like a cat. But the authorities in charge of monitoring the giant monsters discover that there's a signal emanating from inside the planet, so they head off on an investigation and find all sorts of things. I remember very little of this. I watched it several days ago, and it's already evaporated mostly from my brain. Um, at their best, the Godzilla films are subtle and intelligent and insightful, um, despite the context of there being a giant monster smashing cities. The first third of this felt very different in tone. It felt much lighter, much goofier, much more of an adventure, and relatively light-hearted. And I was ready to go with that. I was ready to have a fun, lighter story. But then, once they arrive in the Hollow Earth, it all just ceases to matter. It all becomes far too lightweight, far too lacking in any kind of depth or point, or there was no reason why I should care about any of this. Characters were thinly sketched. I'd completely forgotten that Rebecca Hall was in the previous film, so I was surprised that she was in this one. Dan Stevens appears to just be on holiday and goofing around. Um, there's a young child who can communicate with Kong, and it's all very uncertain in tone. It can't decide whether it wants to be taken seriously or if it's just goofy adventure. And I just stopped caring. The MonsterVerse movies have started with two strong films, the 2014 Godzilla and Kong Skull Island. Both of them worked very well, I thought, but the sequels have all generally been very weak. Godzilla vs. Kong was one of the worst films I saw for that year. Godzilla King of the Monsters and The New Empire are both portentous and silly at the same time. They're trying to have it both ways, of being both fun adventure movies, but also take Godzilla very seriously. And Adam Wingard is not a good enough director to manage that. His track record in horror is not as good as it should be. And then he's immediately gone into mega budget blockbusters and doesn't really know what he's doing. And the result is yet another very unsatisfactory movie. This would make a lot of money. They're making another one. I'm really not that interested, but I might watch it purely as a make weight, the same reason I watched this, purely to make up the numbers. I'm far more interested in the proposed sequel to Godzilla Minus One, which was the best film of the year. And that was a film made with intelligence and subtlety and thought that also had exciting and thrilling and terrifying action scenes. This just has Godzilla running into battle alongside Kong, which should be completely absurd, but the film has stopped caring long before that.